So, I started by using these books as my reference for all my information. Mainly these two, but I did get some stuff out of these two. And then I wrote down everything I could find in both, well, all four books about festivals and holidays and like how to have them and what days were holy. And then this is like an example of a festival and what to do. And then this is the calendar. So there was like different calendars and festivals all throughout Greece, ancient Greece, but they didn't survive. Pretty much only the Athenian festival calendar survived. So most of the information that we have comes from that. And the Hellenic calendar is lunar based, not solar based. So that was a little bit of a headache when I got the calendars, but I'll get to that later. So the new year began on the new moon, which is not what the new moon today is, which is the like absolutely no visible moon. It's the day after that when you can see just a little bit of the moon. So that's what the ancient new moon is. So that was their new year after the summer solstice. And then they had different names for the months, and I wrote down all of the festivals that happened in those months. And then later I went back and highlighted the ones that I think are going to be relevant to me and try and maybe fit those into my calendar. So lots and lots of notes about that. Some of it, like a lot of these, I was like, it doesn't really have any relevance to my life these days. So I don't think I'm gonna put too much effort into recreating those. And then I just have some like vocab that was pretty relevant. Yeah. And then I have more festivals and more notes. And this is really long, but I'm vibing, so this is what you get. And then I have two holidays that are like folk. Well, this isn't a folk holiday. This is like New Year's Day, you know. It's New Year's Day, so yeah. That could be like become religious if I do certain things. So I highlighted that. And then this is like a folk holiday in modern Greece that I thought was pretty cool. It's a women-only festival of midwives. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. And there's a difference between holy days and festivals. Festivals are like a big, like all day long, sometimes several day long event with lots of ritual behind it. Whereas holy days are just kind of like, it doesn't take up as much time. It's not as thought out. It's just like offerings to the gods that are being honored that day. Yeah. Oh, and then we got to the core elements of the festivals. One of the things that's like kept popping up was the Stephanos, which is literally just flower crowns. So I love that. So we're gonna make flower crowns at some point. Yeah. but you wear those during festivals, and I love it. The pomp is like a walk, basically, but to the temple, but I'm gonna do that as like walking down to my mailbox and back to the house, probably, because that's the closest I can get to walking to a temple, because my rituals are all in my house, unless I decide to do one outside, but I'd still probably just walk to the mailbox and back. Just more vocab and important elements. Oh, so this is something that, like I mentioned, we would have feasts, and the deepnon is a meal or banquet, and it can range from formal to informal, and the like formal one is called a theoxenia, which is a banquet at which the gods are honored guests. So like the gods are there, so you like set a place on the table for them and give them food and everything, and yeah, and you should always like menu plan for the gods. So like if they have certain favorite foods, you should try and incorporate that. A big thing was the Aegon, which was a contest for a prize, which we could do as just board games over and over again. And like whoever wins the most rounds of Clue or something gets a prize, something like that. I'm saying we all the time, like you're going to be at all of these, but you can come to whichever ones you want to. That's up to you. And then the Komos is like the end of the festival with like music and dancing, and you could go to the theater if it's like a Dionysian holiday. And this is when you would start doing like, it's literally on the page right here, but I'm struggling to find the words. Like if you wanted to talk to the gods through like different means of divination or something, that would be the time to do it. Those are the words I was looking for. And then we're back to more festivals and more holy days. Oh, and the first day, that new moon, is called Numenia. That's the festival every month. And then I went ahead and wrote out, I have my epithet book. Well, it's like a journal, but I have a bunch of pages with epithets in it. And I thought that I would write out the epithets of each god that I thought would make a good holy day or festival. And it's not to say that I'm going to do all of these, but this is just like what I'm going to pick from probably. So I've got some fun epithets going on here. And Luna colored with some crayon. So we got a little character on that last page. And so yeah, so that's all of my notes that I wrote. And I also have information on, I wrote these like a long time ago, on the Wheel of the Year, which is like the pagan holidays that happen, like the summer solstice and the spring equinox and all of that stuff. Samhain. And on the back of them, that's not a good example because I didn't have one for that. On the back of them, I wrote like the themes and things that are like associated with it. And then I wrote the Greek gods that I thought would be associated with the holiday, because they're not Greek holidays, but because they're so like well known, I thought it would be fun to include them in my calendar. So like all of these, I wrote down the Greek gods that are associated with them. But for summer solstice, I am struggling to figure out who wants to celebrate with me on that day. And Then, Heather, this is continuing still. This is a 10-minute long video already, so bless you if you've made it this far. Yeah, so I printed out calendars for 2020, like all of the months, and then 2021, and then 2022. And then I went in, because it wasn't included, and I put in all of the moon phases for every month for all 3 years, because the Athenian calendar is lunar-based, duh, and just talking about the moons and shit. And that is the starting point for writing out the festivals. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the date of the summer solstice for this year, and I'm going to mark it down, and then I'm going to find the new moon, ancient Greek new moon, that comes right after it. I'm just using August. I know it's not in August, but it would be, say this was the summer solstice, this would be the ancient Greek New Year, because it's the day after the dark moon. So that would be the start of the year, and then I would go in and I would count, like on the 4th day of the first month, there's a festival for Aphrodite. I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I would mark down the festival. So that is what I'm about to do, and I'm going to add in my own holidays and like modern holidays, and it's just going to be a really good time. I'm really excited. I'm really proud of all of the effort that I've put into this so far, and I can't wait to send you a video of the completed calendars. I printed out 3 years because I wanted to do next year's in advance, but in order to do next year's, I have to kind of do this year's, because it just started like a couple weeks ago, or something like that, around then. And yeah, maybe I can celebrate some festivals this year, but definitely I want to have my calendar ready for next year. And break.